What is up, investors? It's Charlie here with another episode of In the Green, and today I chatted with young investor user Jasper Gyves about his perspective on the markets going into the new year.
I'm at the bank making money, making moves. Machines with tools and drills, making grooves. Missions impossible.
Hey Jasper, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. So could you get us started by just briefly introducing yourself to the investor community?
Sure. I'm Jasper Gyves. I'm a senior in high school. I go to Rancocas Valley High School. It's in New Jersey. I've been into investing for probably like a year, maybe two. But my grandpa really got me into it because he's been into like stocks his whole life. He's kind of been more of a passive investor though, just throwing money into the S&P. But he was a PhD in chemistry. He had a PhD in chemistry, which is cool. But yeah, and then I found Invstr just because I was trying to find like paper trading, some kind of stock simulation tool, and Invstr was there, and I really liked it. So I eventually got the membership and everything, and I've been on for about a year.
So how did your first like week or month go on Invstr? What was that experience like?
Well, okay, so I tried like playing it safe because I didn't want to lose money, and I didn't. So you could look at my all-time graph. It's really, really flat for the first like 6 to 7 months, and then it takes off. So, but yeah, definitely when I first started trading, I had really no idea about stocks. I knew about Tesla, and that was at like what, really low. If I had bought Tesla and held forever, it would have been insane. But yeah.
So what changed after those 6 or 7 months? How did your strategy change? What did you learn after paper trading for that first half a year?
I really just learned about market trends and how it's really important to follow the news, like follow the current events, what's going on, because some of my best trades have come from, really predicting like how stocks will react to certain news events and not, I don't know, like Sundial today. It skyrocketed because the Dems won the 2 Georgia seats. Obviously, I don't know. I'm just really excited for the cannabis industry, and that's gonna go. It's gonna go to the moon.
So, what are 1 or 2 trades you've made over the past 6 months that you're really proud of? That you think what you learned in those first 6 months allowed you to do really well with a trade recently?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I want to talk about like crypto here because I've made a good portion of my profits through crypto, but obviously I'm not like the best investor on Invstr, but a lot of it has come from actually staying in groups that give tips and stuff like that. And the best trade that I had this year was definitely my Bitcoin trade. I just held an entire month and it was like 20% of my portfolio that made the most profit. But the trade that I'm most proud of was probably Sunrun. I bought it around like 60, and I just really anticipated the Biden win and solar going through the roof, and that one worked out really well. It's at like 83 now. So
yeah, I think what you mentioned about kind of acknowledging that you might not know everything and you can learn from other people is like one of the most powerful things about Invstr.
Oh my God.
Like
it's so helpful to have a huge community, and I don't even know how people have found this app. It's mostly just looking through the App Store, I would assume, but there's a lot of people, and they're all really passionate about investing, which I find really cool.
And something I found cool is they're so passionate, but they're from such different backgrounds. I found
for sure, yeah. You have people from like Canada, like I don't even know. Of course, I got the flag in the background. I'm the most American kid, but I think it's really cool that you'll find people from all different walks of life on Invstr.
So you mentioned you're really into crypto. What has intrigued you about crypto, and where do you kind of see it going over the course of the next few months after it's really hot?
This is great. No, I think it's going to stay hot for the whole 2021. I really think that since the government is just printing money and the Fed is buying up securities, I don't really know how long that's going to last, just a propped up stock market. So I really think people are trusting Bitcoin, especially like the fact that institutions are getting into this stuff, it really gives stable coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC. It gives them a lot of potential in the market. And I really think by the end of 21, I really think Bitcoin will go to at least 100K. But, what do I know?
Exactly. So as someone who's obviously like really young,
Oh, yeah.
do you see a world where Bitcoin is used widely used? Like, what's your perspective on the future?
So I really feel like if the government keeps printing the money at this rate, which I doubt they will, but inflation is just really scary for people, and Bitcoin can't inflate because it in its programming it actually never creates another one, which is going to work out. And I feel like in an economy where everything is now digital, everything is technology. So I really see it being used as a commonplace currency.
What are some other sectors? You obviously mentioned solar, cannabis, and
Energy.
crypto. What else have you been looking at, and are you excited about going into the early part of this year?
Well, definitely EVs. I mean, I think everybody is excited about EVs. Obviously, Tesla, got a price target to 810 by Morgan Stanley today. That was a big jump. But I'm really excited about Fisker, and like that's the most specific stock in the EV, just because I feel like Henry Fisker is a great CEO, and I think he'll really run that company up. He'll do good there.
Gotcha. And then are there any sectors you're particularly worried about going into this year? There's obviously the big names like airlines and other things, but what else do you have an eye on that could go down?
Well, honestly, under Biden, the fact that now they control all three districts of the courts, or not the courts, the government, I really see potential for oil stocks taking a hit towards the end of 2021 because, I just don't see them getting a lot of funding. I mean, if the demand is there, they'll make money, but we'll see.
For sure. It'll be interesting to watch. I was actually reading an article earlier today on how while everyone's talking about both Congress and the presidency being in the Democrats' control, it will really, both those branches will be limited by what the Supreme Court rules.
That's true.
Majority will be interesting to watch those. But definitely, I mean, you see what's going on with like in California with the big push for EVs and stuff. What happens policy-wise over the early part of Biden's term will definitely have long-term impacts.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, every day.
So how do you think your perspective as someone who's still in high school shapes you as an investor compared to other people who might be older?
So I definitely think that the number one key to the market is time, and it's always going to be that, whether it be picking stocks or just passively investing with ETFs, you still have to, wait. I think a good time to see your investment really take charge, I guess. It's weird to say, but I think because I'm 17, I have a lot of potential to really grow a portfolio that can, be very healthy.
For sure. And what advice would you give to someone who's 17 who might look at the stock market and be like, oh, this is crazy. I have no idea what's going on. Should I even get into this? What would you tell someone like that?
I really think that it's important to be investing, especially today, because if you just save money in, say, a 1% interest rate, savings account, you're going to lose money over time. And I think it's very important for people to plan for retirement, and especially if they think the stock market is some crazy thing only for smart people or rich people. I really think that it's not the right way of thinking, and I really want people to either passively invest or actually find a way to research, because it's very important, especially as you come close to retirement, and having some sort of income when you can't work is important. So.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Jasper, for coming on the podcast today. It was great to hear your opinions on this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Making moves, machines with tools and drills, making grooves, missions impossible.
I am not a financial advisor, and my comments should never be taken as financial advice. Investments come with risk, so always do your research and analysis beforehand.